what do there? Is this even?
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another GeekaWhat video, and today I've got a PC build for you. It's an insane $500 build for the last half of 2017, first half of 2018. This build's going to give you really good value and perform really well in the latest AAA titles, medium settings, 60 frames per second and above, with anti-aliasing toned down and VSync turned off. Head down to the slightly older games, GTA 5, CSGO, etc, etc. You're going to see some fantastic frame rates at 1080p, high settings, well over that 60 frames per second mark, depending of course on the game. So let's jump into the parts that I chose for this build and why, kicking it off as always with the CPU. AMD's Ryzen 3 to me seemed like the best option for this build, although Intel's new Coffee Lake 8th gen chips aren't a bad bet either. I went for the Ryzen 3 1200 chip, a 3.1 GHz base clocked CPU with 4 cores. Now, you could step up to the 1300X, which gives you better single-threaded performance. However, you can get around that with a little bit of overclocking, which is possible in this build. The reason for me Ryzen 3 stands out over the i3 lineup is based purely on the quad-core nature of the chips. That's going to maintain compatibility with the latest AAA titles for the foreseeable future, which makes this chip a really great bet. Not only that, the stock cooler that comes included is hands down fantastic, meaning you don't need to go out and spend $30–40 on an aftermarket third-party cooler, because this chip is going to do perfect with what is included, which helps to keep costs down and make things as simple as possible, which is all good. For the motherboard in this build, this is a go-to for me and has been used in a numerable number of PC builds. It's MSI's B350M Pro-VDH. This motherboard is superb as it sits on the B350 chipset, which means you get more PCI-E lanes, better I/O support, more overclocking, all that good stuff. This motherboard actually has an M.2 slot on board as well as support for up to 64GB of DDR4 memory at 3200 MHz, which is really impressive indeed. Not only that, its neutral colour scheme and aesthetic will fit in nicely with not only this build but many others, and with rave reviews at a good price point, it's definitely the best option in my opinion. For the memory in this build, for the RAM, I chose Crucial's Ballistix Sport LT, an 8GB DIMM. Choosing one single 8GB DIMM is absolutely fine in terms of performance. You don't need dual channel memory, and it allows you to keep the price down, which is good as well. The DDR4 2400 MHz speed is fast enough, although you can overclock this very easily in the motherboard BIOS with a hit of like 2 clicks. It's so simple. Not only does the RAM look good, it's got great reviews, and thankfully RAM prices are falling somewhat now after the whole RAM price explosion that's been going on recently. In terms of the storage in this build, I opted for a hard drive. There is no budget here in a $500 build for an SSD. As good and as fast as SSDs are, it simply can't fit into a budget this damn low. Seagate's Barracuda, a 1TB model, is going to be perfect. At the 3.5 inch, so standard hard drive form factor, it performs really well at 7200 RPM speed, as fast as your mainstream consumer hard drives get, and I've had great experiences with these Seagate drives. I've got 4 4TB ones in my server, I've got 2 1TB ones in a HTPC, I've got another 1TB in my personal rig, I've got a 2TB in a recent build. I have loads of these and I've never had one fail on me yet. SSDs are of course more reliable than a traditional hard drive, but this will do the job really nicely. Next up, in terms of the graphics card in this build, easily like the centerpiece of a gaming PC, I went for EVGA's GeForce GTX 1050, a 2GB model with the ACX 2.0 cooler. Graphics card pricing has also shot up, much like RAM pricing, over the past 12 months really, due to cryptocurrency mining and the demand on that for GPUs, but this graphics card is going to do really well indeed. The EVGA cooler gives room once again for overclocking, but also keeps temps nice and low if you don't want to overclock. It's got a very low power consumption as well, this graphics card, which helps to keep the build's overall heat and energy consumption output down to a bare minimum. Overall, it's a really nice graphics card, DisplayPort, DVI and HDMI outputs for all your monitors. Much like all the other parts, it's available on Amazon Prime. Links as always in the description below. Overall, a really solid card with all the stuff we need at a great price point. The penultimate part on this list is of course the case. Thermaltake's Versa H15 is a really nice choice. It comes with a window on the side which allows you to look in at your beautiful build. It also supports full-size ATX power supplies which are cheaper than more unique smaller form factor units, supports micro ATX motherboards which means our motherboard will fit, and the case isn't overly massive as well, so will fit on a desk or under a desk very easily without looking absolutely colossal. It's also got USB 3 and USB 2 on the front panel, along with headphone, microphone, power and reset buttons, giving you all the I/O you could need at your fingertips. Overall, a great component, once again at a fantastic price point. Finally, the last part on this list is of course the power supply. I'll say this in many videos, some people go completely overkill with a 1000-watt power supply that they just don't need, and some people go the other extreme, what's the cheapest power supply I can find, and shove that in there, and that's not the way to go. Pick a reputable manufacturer, EVGA, Corsair, Cooler Master, Thermaltake, Seasonic, any of those, and find a unit that's got enough headroom for your build. This build consumes around 225 watts at load, which is incredibly low, but I went for an EVGA 500 watt unit. That's not to say you need double the wattage of your build, however, I wouldn't go much lower than this because the quality of power supplies does start to diminish quite rapidly. Going for a power supply like this not only has a great warranty on it as well, but comes in at a good price point, very reliable with good custom support, and so many 5-star reviews, it is unbelievable. Overall though, that just about wraps it up for this build. If you did find it useful, enjoy it, or helpful, smash that like button down below, it really does help. Leave any comments, questions or queries in the comment section below, and subscribe for more from me. As always though, we'll see you in the next GeekaWhat video.